Hello viewers, it's my pleasure to introduce myself. My name is Anushka Joshi and I will be giving you a few tips and important points on the topic chemical thermodynamics and energetics. ये टॉपिक एक मस्ट डू टॉपिक है सीईटी के लिए. आपको फॉर्मूलाज सारे रटे हुए होने चाहिए. लाइक हेस लॉ ऑफ समेशन है, देन वर्क फॉर डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस है, आइसोबारिक, आइसोकोरिक, रिवर्सिबल प्रोसेस एक्सेट्रा, देन आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन, रिलेशन बिटवीन सीपी एंड सीवी, 3 लॉज ऑफ थर्मोडायनेमिक्स एक्सेट्रा. क्योंकि यूजुअली फॉर्मूला बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस ही आते हैं सीईटी के लिए इस चैप्टर से, और बाकी चैप्टर्स के भी क्वेश्चंस रहते हैं, तो वो न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करने के लिए आपको वही फॉर्मूला उस समय याद आना ही चाहिए. कुछ थ्योरेटिकल क्वेश्चंस भी आ सकते हैं जिसके लिए आपको ये टिप्स काम आएंगे. फर्स्ट पॉइंट है, फॉर अ गिवन सिस्टम द इंटरनल एनर्जी इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू इट्स एब्सोल्यूट टेम्परेचर. अगर आप एक सिस्टम का टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज करते हो तो उसका इंटरनल एनर्जी भी इंक्रीज होगा. सिंपल. सेकेंड पॉइंट है, एट कॉन्स्टेंट वॉल्यूम द अमाउंट ऑफ हीट सप्लाइड टू द सिस्टम is equal to the increase in its internal energy. Third point है, in an adiabatic expansion of gas, it gets cooled because of the decrease in its internal energy. जैसे हमने फर्स्ट पॉइंट में देखा, इंटरनल एनर्जी डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल है टेम्परेचर से. सो अगर आप इंटरनल एनर्जी गैस का कम करते हो तो उसका टेम्परेचर भी ड्रॉप होगा. एंड फोर्थ पॉइंट है, इन अ साइक्लिक प्रोसेस द चेंज इन इंटरनल एनर्जी इज जीरो. इसका रीजन ये है कि साइक्लिक प्रोसेस में सिस्टम ने जिस स्टेट से स्टार्ट किया है उसी स्टेट में रिटर्न करता है, और इंटरनल एनर्जी एक स्टेट फंक्शन है, इसके लिए चेंज इन इंटरनल एनर्जी होगा जीरो. फिफ्थ पॉइंट, फॉर एन एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन द साइन ऑफ चेंज इन इंटरनल एनर्जी इज नेगेटिव. एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन में हीट इवॉल्व होता है, दैट्स व्हाई internal energy of the reactants is greater than the internal energy of the products. Vice versa, for endothermic reaction, the sign of change in internal energy is positive because here the heat is absorbed. That's why the internal energy of products is greater than the internal energy of the reactants. Sixth point and the most important point, when the gas is heated at a constant volume, the pressure of the gas has to increase. As the gas is not allowed to expand, in case of CV, heat is required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of the gas by 1 degree Celsius. When the gas is heated at a constant pressure, the gas expands and it does work against the external pressure. Therefore, in case of CP, more heat is required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of the gas by 1 degree Celsius. We get this relation from the relation of CP and CV. Cp minus Cv equal to R. Therefore, we get Cp as R plus Cv. That's why we can say that Cp is R more than Cv. Next and the final point, heat of formation and stability. Heat of formation is the most important property of a compound and it is related to its stability. The stability of a body is inversely proportional to its heat of formation or the heat of content. अगर एक बॉडी का हीट कंटेंट ज़्यादा होगा तो उसका स्टेबिलिटी कम हो जाएगा. अगर हम ये बोलते हैं कि एक कंपाउंड का हीट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन पॉजिटिव है, इसका मतलब ये है कि उस कंपाउंड का हीट कंटेंट ज्यादा है बाकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट एलिमेंट के हीट कंटेंट से. इन सिंपल वर्ड्स, इफ अ कंपाउंड हैज हीट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन पॉजिटिव, देन इट मीन्स दैट द हीट कंटेंट ऑफ दैट कंपाउंड इज मोर देन द हीट कंटेंट ऑफ इट्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट एलिमेंट्स. Hope you guys found these points helpful and understood them. See students, the previous batches didn't get much time to prepare for CET, but you are fortunate enough to get more time due to this lockdown. So prepare for the worst. It is expected that the bar of questions might be raised this time due to this long gap. So prepare for the worst and best of luck for your CET.
Hello, I am Ashwati and I am going to give you simple tips for S, P, T and F block elements. This topic is a combination of theories and reactions. So I will suggest don't skip this topic because attempting a theory question will be more easier than solving a numerical and marking a correct answer. And the reactions are also very simple compared to other chapters. And one more thing you must remember about the reactions is never mug up the reactions. Try to derive it, it will help you a lot. And regarding theory, the main problem is memorizing the atomic number and elements of the same group because we need it for finding out the order of increasing and decreasing of atomic radius, ionization enthalpy, electronegativity and electron gain enthalpy. Now next is atomic radius, electronegativity, electron gain enthalpy, ionizations. For these topics, go for conceptual studies because there are chances of getting confused. Now, next is electronic configurations. You should know how to find the electronic configuration because we needed to find out the oxidation state, stability, color, property, and movement. And all these are also important topics in this chapter. And physical and chemical properties are also important. And all these topics have exceptions, and you should give a special concentration on the exceptions of these topics.
To memorize the atomic number of the elements present in the same group, we can take the help of these magical numbers 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. Let's see how it works for P and D block elements. This is P block elements. For this, you should know what is the atomic number of first period. Then by adding the magical numbers to this, we can get the rest. 5 plus 8 is 13, 13 plus 18 is 31, and so on. And same for the D block elements. But here the magical number starts from 18, that is 18, 32, 32. Now to memorize the element, you can take the help of mnemonics. For example, I will show you one. That is for group 13 P block elements. Here the mnemonic is bag it, B for boron, A for aluminium, G for gallium, indium and thallium.
So next is a common tip for all the subjects, for all the chapters. Try to solve the question papers because firstly it will help you to understand what types of questions are asked, which will help you in your studies, and secondly it will help you to improve your speed, as time is an important factor for all these competitive exams. And one more thing I would like to say is go for your own notes and go for short notes, which will help you in your last moment preparations. And that's it. So I will take this moment to wish you all the best. Good luck.
Hello MLCCD aspirants. I'm Master Omkar Khod and I will be sharing you some tricks related to the bond order of the 20 electron species. So for this trick you need to remember only the bond order of the 14 electron species, that is 3. So in this trick you have to remember it that if the electron species decreases by -2 or increases by +2, so bond order always decreases by -1. So we will take example related to it. Example, that is O2 2 minus O2, that is diatomic 16 electron and -2 charge on it, so +2, so it corresponds to 18 electron species, 18 electrons. So we will refer this chart. So 18 electron species, the bond corresponds to 1. And for the species less than 8 electrons, so I also have a trick related to it. So that trick is BABA, that is BABA. So B corresponds to bonding, A corresponds to anti-bonding. So you have to consecutively fill 2 electrons in bonding, anti-bonding, bonding, anti-bonding. So as we know, the formula of bond order equals half into number of electrons in BMO minus number of electrons in ABMO. So we will take example to understand it in a better way. Example, if n equals to 6, that is 6 electron species. So bond order will correspond to half into number of electrons BMO minus number of electrons in ABMO. So we'll consecutively fill 2 electrons in B bonding, 2 electrons in anti-bonding, 2 electrons in bonding. So total number of electrons in BMO will be 2 plus 2 will be 4 electrons, and number of electrons in ABMO will be 2. So half into 4 minus 2. After solving it, we will get bond order equals to 1. So we will take more example related to it. That is N2 plus 2. N2 diatomic 14 electron species, plus 2 charge on it, so -2 12 electrons. So we will refer this chart to it. So bond order corresponding to 12 electrons, that is 2. This is a very interesting example. As you see this N2 plus, so N2 diatomic 14 electron, plus 1 charge on it, so -1, so 13 electron. So it is in 13 electron species. So in this chart no 13 electron species are mentioned. So as we know that 13 is greater than 12, so always remember this, if the values come in between 13, 15, 17, so it will have an increment of 0.5. So if the corresponding bond order corresponding to 12 electron species is 2, so bond order of 13 electron species will be 2.5. It will have an increment of 0.5. I hope you will find this trick helpful in your MLT CET paper. All the best and do well.
I am Aishwarya Dabir and I am going to tell you some problem solving skills of the topic electrochemistry. What is electrochemistry? Chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. First of all, you all must know that some basic concepts of this topic like Faraday's law, Ohm's law and some basic electrolysis reaction. During electrolysis, hydrogen gas is liberated at cathode and oxygen liberated at anode. If these are two reactions, then N Faraday liberate 1 mole of M and half mole of X2. 1 Faraday deposit 1 gram of equivalent and mass deposited by 1 coulomb is equals to equivalent weight divided by 96500. If A and B are two substances of same quantity, then this is the relation in between them. And these are two formulas of lambda Eq and lambda M. Effect of dilution. As dilution increases, conductance goes on increasing, conductivity decreases, lambda Eq and lambda M goes on increasing. Kohlrausch law. It states that at infinite dilution, lambda Eq is the sum of equivalent conductivities of cation and anion. Now, the solubility of a sparingly soluble salt is 1000 K divided by lambda naught M. Electrochemical cell. E naught of cell, that is standard cell potential, is equals to E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. In balancing the half cell reaction, equation may get multiplied with some integer to get the overall reaction. But the E naught of cell, that is cell potential, is constant and it is not to be multiplied with that integer. Therefore, here E of cell is equals to 1.50. Element having the higher reduction potential is strong oxidizing agent and metal with higher oxidation potential displaces other metal from its aqueous solution. These are two equations of Gibbs free energy and standard Gibbs free energy. Sometimes question asked in this pattern, like we have given three reactions, their potential and standard Gibbs free energy. Then E3 is not equal to E1 minus E2, but the delta G3 degree is equal to delta G1 degree minus delta G2 degree. If we want to calculate E3, then delta G degree is equal to minus NF E naught of cell. If we have this equation, then next equation says that E of electrode is equal to E naught of electrode minus 2.303 RT upon NF log of 1 upon concentration of M raised to N plus. If we put standard values of R, T and F, we get this equation. If E of cell is equal to 0, then this value put in equation 1 and we get delta G degree is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K. By general equation AA plus BB gives CC plus DD, this is the next equation we can use. These are the main features of cell and battery. It is very easiest method to remember all the features in only one chart. This is the efficiency of fuel cell, that is delta G upon delta H is equals to minus NF E of cell upon delta H.
Hi, I'm Samida More and I'm going to teach you chemistry, specifically the general trends in the periodic table. So let's take some previous year questions. These are all questions from 2019 question paper. So the first question, which element among the following has the highest chemical reactivity? Beryllium, magnesium, barium and strontium are all group 2 elements, which is also known as the alkaline earth metal group. Now you should know that metals lose electrons to get stability. The loss of electron becomes easier due to the decreased ionization energy as the size becomes bigger of the atom. Down the group, the size increases, which makes barium the biggest. The electrons are more tightly held by beryllium, making it difficult to lose them. Hence, the biggest, which is barium, is the right answer. Next, the thermal stability order of hydrides of group 15 elements is: down the group, size of the atom of the element increases. Now, due to this increase in size, there is no effective overlapping of orbitals between the atom and the hydrogen of the hydride, and hence, following the order of nitrogen being the smallest up till antimony, the second will be the correct option. Now similarly, if you look at the next question, which hydride among the following is the strongest reducing agent? Compound which would be the least stable would be a very good reducing agent, because it would like to change its oxidation state in order to attain stability. So in these, bismuth hydride which is the least stable, would be the strongest reducing agent. Next, the correct order of boiling points of alkyl halides. As the size increases, the van der Waals forces also increases, and thus the correct option will be the third one. Oxidation number of sulfur in S8 molecule. Between the atoms of the same element, the electron pair is equally shared, and thus the answer of this question would be 0.
Hi champs, I'm Draupadi Mohit. I know you are well prepared for CET, although I am trying to boost your confidence at last minute. As you are all aware about chemistry is scoring subject in all examinations. Is it? Now, I am going to revise you the 3 important chapters in organic chemistry, that are phenols, biomolecules and polymers. Our first topic is phenols. In phenols, you have to remember classification of phenols, preparation method, nomenclature and the uses of phenols. First, preparation methods. You know the Dow's process, Raschig process, preparation of phenol from aniline, from benzene sulfonic acid and from fuming. The reaction of phenols are bromination, sulfonation, nitration, also the oxidation and reduction reaction. The most important 2 reactions that are named reaction in this topic are Kolb's reaction and Wiener-Timmer reaction. Now our second topic. Our second topic is biomolecules. In biomolecules, you have to remember carbohydrates, proteins, fats, lipids and vitamins. First, carbohydrates. You know the classification of carbohydrates based on the process of solubility and hydrolysis. The configuration of the glucose and all reactions of glucose. Second, the proteins and lipids. You know the classification of the proteins and lipids on their complexity and structure. And third, vitamins. In vitamins, you know the chemical names of the vitamins, their sources and the deficiency diseases caused by the vitamins. Now, our last topic. Our last topic is polymers. In polymers, you know the classification of the polymers based on their sources, structure and complexity. That are based on their sources, natural, synthetic or semi-synthetic. Second, based on their structure, that means linear, branched or cross-linked polymers. And third, based on their molecular forces, that thermoplastic polymers, thermosetting polymers or fibrous polymers. Second, you know the addition reactions and condensation reactions of the polymers, which means straight growth and chain growth polymers. Third, the most important, you know all monomers and examples, also the catalysts of the reactions that are used in the process of polymerization. That is Ziegler-Natta catalyst and biodegradable, non-biodegradable polymers. And the most important questions which are going to be asked on this chapter are all uses of polymers. You must prepare the uses of polymers. Thanks for listening me and all the best for your radiant future.
Hello friends, I am Alex. I believe you're all set for your exams. Here I have come with few tips on 2 chapters, coordination chemistry and aldehydes and ketones. So let's first see coordination chemistry. 2 topics which you must surely revise before going for exam are nomenclature and the types of isomerisms shown by different complexes. Another usual question from this chapter is state if a given complex is diamagnetic or paramagnetic. You can easily answer this question with a thorough knowledge of the outer electronic configurations of the 3D series of transition metals and the spectrochemical series. You can see if the given ligand is a strong field ligand or weak field ligand and then observe if the electrons pair up or not and answer accordingly. The next chapter is aldehydes and ketones. I have included 2 questions which might look easy at the first glance, but you might make mistakes due to carelessness. So let's look at them. Firstly, I'm going to talk about nucleophilic addition on alpha-beta unsaturated aldehyde. An example for such an aldehyde is acrolein, which can exist in this form and this form also. Now the question arises, on which carbocation will the incoming nucleophile attack? There are 2 possibilities. The incoming nucleophile can attack this carbocation or this carbocation. So how will you decide? If the incoming nucleophile is a strong nucleophile such as CN-, then it will attack this carbocation and you will get a 1,2 addition product. And if the incoming nucleophile is a weak nucleophile such as Br-, it will attack this carbocation and you will get a 1,4 addition product. Another question in which students usually make mistake is the reaction between an aldehyde or ketone and semicarbazide. The correct structure of the product called semicarbazone is this. The nitrogen adjacent to the NH group is involved in this reaction. This is the wrong structure of the product. This nitrogen adjacent to the carbonyl group cannot act as a nucleophile as the lone pairs are involved in resonance with this oxygen. So all I have to say is practice every day, approach your exams with a cool mind, and all the best.
Hello MLCCT aspirants, I'm Ashwam Kakut. Will be sharing you some tips and guidance related to the subject of the chemistry. So there are 3 bullet points related to the preparation of chemistry. The first bullet point is previous year question paper analysis. The second bullet point is mock test papers. And the third bullet point is making short notes or the micro notes of the chapters or the topic that you are unable to revise in a short period of time. So I wish all the MLCCT aspirants all the very best for the exams.